Hello and welcome to another episode of B-Movie Enema, the series. I'm your B-Movie proctologist, Geoff Arbuckle, and with me as always is my partner in all this butt business, Nurse Disembaudee. Nurse, how's it going?
You know what, Geoff? I'm not doing too bad. How about you?
You know, not too bad at all. I'm really glad that all that stuff with the poop shoot appears to be behind us, I guess. All that work that Bart guy did over the weeks that, well, we never once referred back to for whatever lazy reason I can't think of, but either which way, it must have put the little guy back to normal. Yeah, exactly, poop shoot. This is not really a professional outfit we have around here.
Okay. What do you have there? Is that the mail?
Oh, yeah, there was some more weird stuff in there this time. I mean, I figured we see envelopes with mail that had big, red stamped warnings of past due, or I fucking mean it, we will turn off your water, dickhead, all over them, but yeah.
Yeah.
But these, I don't know, these kind of look like, invitations or something.
Ooh, maybe for like a party or something?
I don't know, maybe.
Maybe we're getting invited to a wedding. That would be fun. We can get dressed up and dance, eat cake. Ooh, maybe we can get everyone else to do the electric slide or something.
I would rather do the shimmy slide.
Oh God, no. Say, why don't we ever get invited to weddings and stuff?
Well, if I'm being honest, you're a cartoon and I'm, I'm not really sure.
That's kind of sad. Well, anyways, let's see what we're being invited to.
Yeah, I mean, no time like the present, huh?
What's it say? Where will I get to go to try and get people to do the electric slide?
You're invited to a special occasion.
Ooh!
Where I will be sure to roast your body over a fire pit and eat your balls like cream puffs.
Well,
that seems like a party for people who live on the north side of town. They're into weird shit.
Geoff, does it say where the invite came from?
No. Should I try another one of these?
Sure, maybe it's like a gag card?
I mean, surely that's the case. I mean, let's see what this one says here. Okay. Let's see here. Roses are red, violets are blue. You sent me here, now I'm coming for you. Oh, well, that one's kind of sweet.
Is that card written with blood?
What do you know? It is.
This is starting to get a little weird, Geoff. I don't like it.
This one just says, eat shit, you asshole.
Yikes. Did you do that thing where you called a bunch of people in the comments section Nazi prick fuckwads again?
I don't think so. Should I try one more?
Maybe. Is there another one? How many did we get?
Like 5 or 6?
Oh my.
Alright, well maybe I have some kind of sexy secret admirer and I don't know, she doesn't know how to properly introduce herself to me?
Yeah, I'd be a little disappointed in that scenario.
You're cordially invited to come down here and get your body used, your nuts crushed a second time, and your soul corrupted and eaten by my dread alluring wiles. Nurse, maybe I shouldn't be reading these out loud and save them for my break time. Things are getting a little steamy around here.
Geoff, I think you're getting invitations from Taintaliza.
Wait, who's that?
Taintaliza, the weird poop shoot sex demon thing that possessed me a couple months back.
I'm sorry, what now?
Exactly, poop shoot. Geoff, seriously. You don't remember that week after our poop shoot technician was here and dislodged those spooky dingleberries? That one possessed me and I tried to, literally eat people and corrupt your soul?
It doesn't ring a bell.
Oh my god.
I mean, I guess maybe I should open this next one that we got in the mail here. By now you have likely been told by the lady thing I possessed when I escaped your poop chute that it is indeed I, the dread, alluring, and all-powerful Tantaliza, that sent these invites. I would very much so enjoy you coming to hell where you banished me so that I can once again feel you in my arms. I promise this time not to use the chains or the whips or the prod on your balls and nipples and butthole again. I know that created some awkward conversations afterwards.
Oh god.
The simple truth is that I have missed you. It is lonely here in hell. There's nothing good to watch on TV, just constant reruns of Ghost Adventures. Look, I know I'm a demon, and I was banished here, and now I have to pay a penance for that by watching these jerkasses yell at my kind like some sort of frat boy jerk-off, but come on. Anyway, where was I? Oh yes, I would sure like for you to come down here and visit me sometime. I would even cook you a real dinner. No dead rats this time. Maybe I could offer you a hamburger? Yeah, sure, a hamburger. Nothing forbidden or worrisome about that. Come down here, I'll wear something real nice, and I'll make you that totally unforbidden hamburger, and maybe even, I guess, give you a back massage. Anyway, please consider this and know that you have always been and always will be my truest of true loves, XOXO Tantaliza. Well, okay, well, P.S. Sorry for the one demanding you eat shit and calling you an asshole. I wrote that on a bad day. Now, see, that isn't that sweet?
Oh, you have got to be fucking kidding me.
What?
She's trying to charm you and get you down to hell. You know what? I'm not even sure how you will get to hell. Poop shoot, can you actually go to hell? Really? Well, actually that's kind of cool. What was I saying? Oh yeah. She wants to lure you down there so she can either use you to escape or just use you.
Alright, who's this now?
Seriously. Let's just watch the movie and I'll explain it while it's going on. What's this week's movie?
Oh, it's a 1984 TV movie called Invitation to Hell.
Of course.
Anyway, it's directed by none other than Wes Craven and stars some interesting folks like Robert Urich, Susan Lucci, and Joanna Cassidy, but we'll dig more into that later after we watch some of this movie.
15 points each. 460, 470, and 30 is 500. I win again.
I don't want to play this dumb game anymore. Anyway, there's hardly any more animals, just dumb buildings.
So count flags. They're worth 15, and there's lots of them.
No fair, you can't count golf course flags. Daddy, golf course flags don't count, do they?
According to international car game rules, the driver must remain neutral.
Coward.
TRF Corporation, Microchip International. Boy, it sounds like computer heaven.
Computers don't go to heaven.
What's a dumb girl know about computers?
Robbie, I told you not to call your sister names.
She only wants to be like you because she loves you.
No, I don't.
Matt, I can't believe it's for real. Executive in charge of special projects.
I still can't believe I'm joining a corporation.
Oh, you'll be just fine. They need fresh blood. You're not sorry you're doing this, are you?
No, I'm just sorry I had to put up with all those lean years. My crazy hours, Midwest winters up to our elbows in snow.
They weren't lean years, Matt.
No, they were. It's time we Winslows had a taste of the good life, huh, guys?
Yeah. I like the snow.
You didn't have to shovel it.
Hey, kids, that's the building where your dad's gonna work.
I don't like the building that you're going to be working at either.
Why not?
Because I can't see the people inside.
This is it. What do you think?
I can't wait to see it.
It's our castle, honey.
Come on, Albert.
It's so beautiful.
I told you you'd like it. You like it, huh? What'd I tell you? What do you see in the backyard? Big backyard, lots of grass.
Oh, honey, it's even better than I remembered it. It's all ours.
Along with the mortgage payments.
Hey, Chrissy, wait for me.
Well,
Wait up.
better late than never.
Oh! Have you ever seen such a gorgeous kitchen? Matt, honey, I'm gonna cook you the best meal you've ever had. What a sound.
Where do you want this thing? Whatever it is.
Oh, careful there. You're holding the 21st century in your hands there.
Wait a minute, hold it.
What?
Albert, get off the chair. Matt, I want you to take all your computer things and your inventions into the new lab at work.
Pat, this is my baby. It's part of the family, Pat.
Matt, I don't care. I want this house to be a home, not a lab.
Because I love you, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll take it to the lab.
It's a great idea.
What do you got there? Games?
No, inventory. You guys losing my stuff, I'll know it.
Hey, we don't lose nothing.
Oh, yeah? I'm already missing a candy bar.
Well, look around. It could be anywhere. Kids today. I don't know.
I know it's hard to sleep in a strange place, but you just gotta get used to it.
Here we sit like birds in the wilderness, birds in the wilderness, birds in the wilderness. Here we sit like birds in the wilderness, waiting to be said.
Ah, finally, the pizza man.
I don't think it is the pizza man, Matt. They usually come to the front door.
Maybe it's a zombie.
Mommy.
Hey.
Give you a knuckle sandwich, you little character.
Sounds like a job for the head of the household. Want to check it out, Pat?
Absolutely not.
Over here. Zombies. Definitely. They do stuff like that.
Come on, Robbie, come back. Stay back.
What is this?
Is this Janie?
Great, Matt. You really scared us.
There, didn't I?
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did.
You're good.
All right, now look, I brought this over for you here. The first one is free, but after that, we got a little charge.
Tell them she haven't changed a bit since college. Still a primitive, tasteless sense of humor. But a highly advanced gourmet sense of food, huh?
Okay, kids. Eat only over hard services, kids.
Well, the masks were Tom's idea, not mine. We're getting ready for a big costume ball later this month at the club.
Really?
Anyway, welcome to paradise.
Thanks. Tell you what, let's get some wine. I'll show you my kitchen.
Okay.
Look, this is great. I'm telling you, when I heard that you were coming, I was so happy you have no idea.
Thanks to you, you did a lot of arm twisting, I'll bet.
Not at all. Word is spread of your invention. I'm telling you. When the company heard, they wanted to get you right into the project. You brilliant, renegade, unpatented genius.
You're probably right. They heard about my sensors, right?
They sure have, and I'll tell you something. With a huge corporation behind you like this, it's going to be great.
Yeah.
And I'll sell it. See, you look good, I look good. So I was just taking care of numero uno here.
A song to celebrate, huh?
All
What do you
right.
say?
All right.
Be like old times, huh? Patricia, the struggling music major. Remember we used to sing around that horrible old upright piano in the dorm?
Who remember?
Is this the same one?
Oh, just the same budget. So it's a little out of tune.
Just a little.
Don't worry about it. The days of out-of-tune pianos and beat-up furniture is over for you two, so just relax.
To friends.
To success.
Cheers. Days of out-of-tune pianos and beat-up furniture are over, Matt.
Said the parrot, as they finally sighted the island and they lived happily ever after in about a condominium in Miami Beach.
Oh, Daddy.
Oh, Daddy. All right. Little sleepy dust there. Little sleepy dust there. Give me a kiss. Now it's time to sleep with the angels. My little cookie, okay?
Okay.
All right. Night-night.
Night-night.
Who's winning?
The Plasmic Warriors got 3 of my fighters, but I just blasted their whole mothership into hyperspace.
Well, now that the galaxy is safe for democracy, you can go to sleep, right?
Right. So if I just save the galaxy, how come I can't go to that Halloween party Jimmy's going to?
Who says you can't?
Jimmy said members only can go. That's some stupid club.
Are they members?
Gonna be. He says everybody that's anybody around here belongs to the club, or is trying to.
And what do you think about that?
I think Jimmy's a nerd.
I'll try to keep an open mind, old bean. It's one of your best traits. Go to sleep.
Welcome, Commander of Earth Forces. Be advised,
approaching your galaxy.
Hi, Sailor. How are the kids?
All the kids are fine. The house is fine. The dog is fine. Everything is fine. It's good.
Do you have any idea how much I love you? I feel like I haven't seen you in a million years. The kids.
Babe, it's the first night.
Slept like a baby.
Matt Winslow, meet Larry Ferris.
How you doing?
Larry is my sponsor at Steaming Springs. You know the club?
All right. Thomas told me all about you.
Oh, well, sometimes Peterson speaks before he thinks. Microdigitech, we like it the other way around. Welcome aboard.
Thanks. Buddy Ferris's warmth is positively reptilian.
He's a great guy once you get to know him. I think he's a little ticked off because he had to ride my old jalopy today.
You guys don't usually carpool?
Ferris? No, that's my boss. I think, you know, he had a flat tire and he was a little touchy probably because of that. Ferris in my junker. He must have been dying. Grace Henderson, I want you to meet my old fraternity buddy, Matt Winslow.
Pleased to meet you, Mr. Winslow.
It's Matt.
I've prepared an operations manual for you. It's on your desk.
Oh, thank you.
She is a marvel. Now, this is my office. Believe me, it is not that much to look at, so we'll move right on to yours over here, practically next door. Not too bad for starters, huh?
Not bad.
Now, let's go see your baby.
Okay.
Like I said, the government wants a man on Venus in the next 3 years, and when he gets there, he is going to be wearing a suit made by Microdigitech and perfected by you, my friend. What do you think?
Well, that's interesting.
Darn right. When he gets there, you know, it's going to be a bit of a hot time. We want to make sure he doesn't turn into a human French fry. Oh, okay, watch this. Okay, he's also armed.
All right.
Okay, here we go.
Power up.
Ooh, that hurts. That hurts. Nothing will stand up to that.
Killer bricks, huh?
Watch this.
All right, set the new shield in place. Now, by the way, how do you like your steaks, charred or obliterated?
Medium rare.
Go ahead, fellas. Huh? Is that a suit or is that a suit?
It's not bad.
Not bad?
Not bad at all. What sort of onboard systems do you have on it now?
Well, on the suit we have radio, weapons, oxygen, everything to keep the guy alive. It's going to be up to you to add the final touches.
All right, an onboard computer hooked up to my sensors.
That's right. We want this suit to be completely self-contained. We want it to think. The guy inside's got to be like a pilot, not like a salami stuffed in a skin.
Give me and my team 2 weeks, and this suit will think. It'll inform its occupant of everything vital and life-threatening going on around it. Automatic. Temperature, atmosphere, even other beings within range.
Other beings within range? You mean it'll be able to sense if there's something non-human out there?
My friend, we are going to build a suit for the 21st century. I mean, the 20th darn near over, right?
Right.
You know, Mary turned me on to this great new furniture store. Can you imagine what this place would look like completely redone? Chrissy, come down for breakfast. Well, I guess the couch could be recovered if, in fact, we can't afford to buy a new one. You listening to me, Matt? Matt, read my lips. The place looks like a fraternity house.
Yeah, I know. It's great, huh? Friendly.
I want to refurnish it. I want to make it pretty and bright. We're grown up now. You work for a big corporation. I'm the wife of a big wheel. You want our children to bring their friends home and have them laugh at the place?
Foul. Bringing kids into an argument is beneath you, Patricia. You're not ashamed to bring your friends home from school, are you, Robbie?
What friends?
So how's school, anyway?
Flunked his first math quiz.
Robbie, you failed a math test?
So I had an off day.
Hi, Jimmy. Come on in.
Thank you.
Is your mom with you?
No, she's at the club. Gonna be made members tomorrow. And Dad and Mom are over there signing papers or something.
Oh, that's terrific. Hi.
Hi. Hi. This is Billy Ferris. Your dad works for his dad. I was telling him about your computers and everything. Hi.
You got Astro Bomber?
Yeah, of course.
I get $20, says you lose.
I don't bet money anymore, but I'll bet you this house you're full of hot air. Come on.
That's my boy.
This furniture sure is old.
Let's go look at some new furniture.
Oh, Matt. Love you.
Yeah, I know.
Your mothership has been blasted to hyperspace.
Hey, what are you doing? No one beats me. No one. What are you looking at? Nothing. Wanna go get a cookie? Sure. Let's go get a cookie.
I've heard noisier rocks than you two recently.
The reason why we aren't talking is because Billy Ferris.
Billy Ferris what, honey?
Oh, nothing, Mom.
Damn it!
You okay, kids?
Buddy,
Yeah,
you guys are all right, huh?
Yeah, we're okay, Matt.
What are you, some kind of maniac? We could have been killed. I got two small children in there.
I am terribly sorry. I was in such a hurry. This was all my fault, really.
Yeah, you're right. It was your fault. I like the name of your insurance company.
I would like to accommodate you, Matthew. But I am in a hurry. Chrissy and Robbie are okay, aren't they? And Patricia?
Yeah, they're all right, but...
Tom Peterson told me all about you and your lovely family. Perhaps you'll pay me a visit soon at the club.
I don't even know who you are.
Jessica Jones. I'm the club's director.
Well, it's real nice, Miss Jones. I'd still like to have the name of your insurance company.
I don't think that will be necessary, Mr. Winslow, sir. Miss Jones is in a hurry.
Yes. And again, I'm sorry for any inconvenience.
Inconvenience? What about my car? I know it doesn't look like much to you, but it's the only car I got. I have to have the whole front end relined.
Everything will be taken care of to your satisfaction, sir. Now, why don't you get back to the wife and children?
Hey, I've been driving 20 years. I've never seen an accident handled like this.
Matthew, if you don't mind my calling you that.
Look, I do mind, all right?
Here, we're a small, tight-knit, and we like to think friendly community. And because of it, we do things a little differently. I'm sure you get my drift, don't you, Matthew?
Yeah, I do. I don't like your drift.
Come on, Matt, let's go. It's history, okay?
Howdy, kids. Having a nice day? Mrs. Winslow? Drive carefully, Matthew.
You are now accepted into the inner circle, and by this symbolic entrance into our ancient spring, do forever forsake the mundane world, and merge yourselves into the protective, exclusive shield of the club. Do you forsake all for the club? I do. Then enter into the spring and taste its power.
Okay, here we go. Well, put it on. Up and running?
Oh, yeah.
Start with the thermal sensors.
$21°C.
70 degrees Fahrenheit, room temperature. All right. Okay. I want you to target the match. The center of the target area.
926°C.
1700 degrees Fahrenheit. Match flame temperature. Perfect. We go for the gold. Look straight ahead. No peeking. Ready?
Human, terrestrial, benign. It's amazing! It's working!
Wait. Ready?
Non-human, terrestrial, benign!
It just reads auras, sort of. The capper's gonna be if it can spot hostile, non-terrestrial life forms.
How you ever gonna know?
Well, I'm working on the computer to feed it synthetic data dissimilar from any life form we have on Earth. Once we do that, we'll see how the helmet reacts to it. This is Mr. Winslow. Give me security. Never mind. It's a false alarm. Grace, aren't you kind of off limits? I mean, if they found you in here, you'd be canned.
Well, if you feel you should turn me in, I'll understand. Just do what your conscience tells you.
Grace, employment files.
I've got something I want you to read, Matt.
Matt Winslow. Matt Winslow, are you back in here? Oh, hello. I'm Harry Thompson, president of the company.
Yes, sir.
Matt, listen, come with me. There's somebody out here that I want you to meet.
Right.
Jessica, allow me to present Matt Winslow. This is Miss Jones of the Steaming Springs Country Club.
Hello again, Matt.
Hello again.
You've met before?
Oh, we've bumped into each other once or twice.
Well, you're just the sort who should join her club. I've heard great things about you.
Thank you, sir.
Anyway, I thought you might let Miss Jones have a peek at your lab.
Sir, that's pretty classified stuff.
Hell, Miss Jones is family. Show her the suit. And then, would you join me in my office?
Yes, sir. Right this way. This is the main computer test bank, which brings us back to the suit, which will be fully automated, fire-resistant, anti-corrosive. It'll also have the capabilities of...
Did you play a sport in college?
What?
A sport?
Yeah. Rowing. This helmet...
I knew it. I could tell from the way your body is muscled. Lean, yet very strong. You should join the club, Matthew. Lots of exercise equipment, lots of pleasurable things. Plus top people, people on their way up, like you.
Well, I guess I'm just not much of a joiner.
Some things can do a lot more for you than you think.
I'll think about it. Right this way. You want to follow me?
Okay, so repeat back to me what I said.
I should not go down to hell to see this Tantalizer chick. She's just going to try to eat my soul or something. And speaking of eating, I should not, under any circumstance, accept a hamburger from her. I don't know, it's like forbidden beef or some such shit.
Great.
But, I mean, she seems like she's really lonely. Maybe she's different now, or she's trying to find a new life. Maybe she's making actual hamburgers.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
What?
I can make you hamburgers tonight in our kitchen.
What if I wanted steakums?
Whatever you want. Just don't go to hell and mess around with Tantalizer.
I'll think about it.
Ugh.
You know what I like, dear viewers? A movie that knows exactly how to hook you from the very beginning. You've got Susan Lucci just hanging out, and she gets run over by a car. She pops herself back up and fries that idiot driver right inside his car like it's a microwave.
It's pretty obvious she's a bad guy, right? No one with hair like that could possibly not be some sort of she-demon.
Yeah, and I like that this guy is being brought to this high-tech computer company to help put some sensors or something into a suit because NASA is sending astronauts to freaking Venus.
Forget about Mars. It's time to go to Venus.
And speaking of Mars, they should, send that Billy Ferris kid to Mars for busting up the sun's video game.
What a little turd.
Yeah, no doubt. But this movie is full of recognizable people. However, let's start with this movie's director. It's just some dude named Wes Craven. But Craven is kind of an interesting director. In fact, I'm actually going to say something kind of controversial.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh, indeed. I actually tend to think of Wes Craven as a little bit overrated.
What? This is the guy who made Nightmare on Elm Street and Scream.
This is true. I mean, and he definitely made some really good movies, like those two, The Last House on the Left, and The Hills Have Eyes. Hell, I even quite like his Swamp Thing and Deadly Friend. But here's the thing. Several all-time great directors or producers tend to have some kind of unifying set of tropes or, recognizable patterns that they use or ways that they shoot films and so forth. And I don't really see that in Craven's work. I honestly think he's maybe a little more of a guy with some good ideas for movies and stories, but when you look at the bigger picture, I don't necessarily see a usual theme from one movie to the next. I mean, this is the guy who went from making really hard-edged exploitation movies like his 70s hits that I mentioned, The Last House on the Left and The Hills Have Eyes, to then making a campy DC Comics movie like Swamp Thing. Yes, he typically stuck around horrors and thrillers, but it really only feels like his significant, widely accepted hits that truly got marked attention for being unique visions were a little bit fewer and farther between. Okay, now I could talk for hours about how much I like movies like Swamp Thing for being this sort of silly but sort of serious, generally still well-liked fantasy movie, or his Deadly Friend movie that is sort of a Frankenstein style of movie. And while I don't necessarily love Scream, I do like it. It's a fun take on the slasher genre after it grew tired and old. I love the first Nightmare on Elm Street, even if Freddy isn't really my most favoritist 80s movie monster. But I don't think there's much of anything that stylistically ties those movies together that screams, Wes Craven made this movie. I know. Let's focus on the fact that indeed Craven had 4 significant movies released in 3 different decades that really truly had a big hand in the genre of horror. I cannot deny that his 2 70s hits, The Last House on the Left and The Hills Have Eyes, did a lot for exploitation legitimacy and appreciation that quality could come out of these vicious killer movies. I really wish that Last House on the Left just didn't have those goofy cops, but I understand that it does kind of break up the really horrific stuff that those killers do to the 2 teenage girls in the movie. The Hills Have Eyes really has this interesting social political class concept that it plays with that I'm not really sure if it was baked into the script from the onset or if it just kind of worked out that way. But there's a really interesting take that you can have with this kind of all-American middle-class family intruding on these poor and kind of uneducated barbarians and the trouble it causes for both sides. There's definitely something interesting in that film that can spark a lot of conversation about the effectiveness within the movie. Now, naturally, the 80s were pretty much the 3rd or 4th wave, depending on how you count it, of the horror monster. And one of the biggest of that era was indeed Freddy Krueger. Yes, A Nightmare on Elm Street garnered a lot of praise, even from the most hardened critics. The way that nightmares were used, the way that the hero girl is able to kind of use her strength and conviction and smarts to figure out how to defeat the monster is simply fantastic. It isn't just a terrifically made movie, it's a very scary movie too. Craven probably gets the most credit for that movie out of anything on his resume because of how he crafted that whole thing in creating Freddy from fears that he had as a child. But then the concept of being attacked when we're at our most vulnerable is some pretty grade A stuff. Then, of course, there's Scream, and I already kind of mentioned the Scream, kind of reinvigorated the slasher genre and horror that at a time when it was at its weakest. And I can bemoan separately how Scream kind of created a pretty bad new wave of horror in the late 90s and 2000s that paled in comparison to anything else I cut my teeth on as a kid, but it's really not Scream's fault. Granted, a lot of my issues with that came from Scream's success. That was due to Kevin Williamson's style characters and dialogue, but that's not Craven's fault at all. What I will say is that Scream kept what I call the quote-unquote fun horror alive so that it could still introduce the older stuff to new audiences. Okay, Nurse, you're going to the store to check to see if they have Steakums, right?
I guess.
Excellent.
And you're not going to go to hell or talk to Taintaliza at all.
Oh, hey, look, there's another note from Taintaliza.
God damn it.
Oh, this one just asks if I ever played a sport and that hell has a pretty sweet gym. Oh, and it also looks like she sent a picture of herself in what appears to be lingerie made out of human skin. I cannot say I'm not intrigued by this.
Where's Tom?
In his office.
Oh, yeah? His office is empty. It's cleaned out.
In his office, room 3, the executive wing.
See you in a minute.
Matt, I just wanted to say... Thanks.
Sure. Okay, whose office is this? Is this your office? You got promoted! Tom, you got promoted! Well, aren't you excited?
Yeah, I am. It just took him damn long enough.
What? I'd think you'd be swinging from the chandeliers.
Yeah, I would. Look, all we have, though, is this recessed lighting, you know.
That's great.
So, how about it? Do I have your okay?
For what?
To sponsor you at the club?
Oh, Tom.
Come on. I'm in. I can get you in. I'm very tight with Miss Jones.
Yeah, you know, she seems to be tight with a lot of people. You know, Thompson, our president, actually had me showing her our supposedly top secret suit. Whoops.
Okay. See what I mean? You join the club, you start rubbing shoulders with top people.
Yeah. Look, Tom, I appreciate what you're trying to do. I'm just not sure it's right for me, that's all.
It'd be great for the kids. It would be a terrific social outlet for Patricia, and it'd be fantastic for you. Look, before you can really get ahead around here, you've got to learn to play the game. Step over a few bodies. Rub shoulders with the people at that club. Those are the facts of life.
Maybe your life, not my life. Look, Tom, I appreciate your advice and what you're trying to do. I got to get back to programming that city.
Listen to me, Matt.
This is great, buddy. I mean, I can't believe this. This is just great. Congratulations again.
Matt.
It's a nice suit.
We got the piano tuned.
Oh. Well, you sure you don't mind about this?
Oh, I don't mind at all. Hey, cutie pie, you ready for the slumber party?
Yeah.
Great. Hey, kids, Janie, Jimmy, and Billy are here.
Upstairs.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, thanks a lot. I really appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome. It's fine. Mary! Is that a new car?
It's a beauty, isn't it?
Wow.
Tom bought it. Just a little something to run around in.
Just a little something? You're kidding? This is no little something. Wow.
Well, I've got to get going. Oh, I wish you were a member. You know, club parties can be so much fun. Everyone who's anyone will be there. Oh, you know what I mean. I just wish Matt weren't being so stubborn.
Bye. Last 10 years haven't been easy on us, Matt. And I want a piece of the pie. And if the club can help us have that, I don't see where there's any crime. I don't think it's out of line to want something that we deserve, Matt.
Patricia, now who's not listening? I'm trying to tell you how I feel. Everyone at work is climbing all over each other, no matter what the cost. That damn club, that's all anybody ever talks about. It's a little scary, Pat. I'm a little scared. It's not just in my head.
Maybe you are afraid. Afraid of success.
Matt,
Should be watching that stuff. It'll give you a night.
Shouldn't do that.
Go to bed. I said go to bed. I mean it.
Made you jump, Mr. Winslow?
All right, all of you, go on. Go to bed right now. I mean it.
Grace, do you have the new readouts?
Good morning, Mr. Winslow. I'm Tracy Winters.
Where's Mrs. Henderson?
Oh, Mr. Thompson himself let her go. I've arranged for your staff meeting at 11 o'clock sharp, and the new data on your suit will be on your desk no later than 3.
Yeah, but what happened to Mrs. Henderson?
Well, I haven't the slightest idea, but I can tell you that when Mr. Thompson does something, he does it for a very good reason. And it stays done.
I understand how you feel, Winslow, but Mrs. Henderson was just not company timber.
Timber. What are we talking about here? People or trees?
More importantly, her loyalty was at issue. Here at Microdigitech, we demand absolute loyalty.
Loyalty? She was the best secretary I ever had.
And once a decision is made, we expect our employees to put aside personal feelings and pull together. It would be a shame to jeopardize all the fine work you've been doing for us here.
All right, that does it.
We don't need to get all worked up. I'm sure that we can reach a compromise. Look, if you feel the same way about it in 2 weeks, you'll have Mrs. Henderson back. How's that, a deal?
All right. 2 weeks.
Good, good. Now that we've got that out of the way, Tom Peterson tells me that you are becoming a member of Steaming Springs.
I am?
Fantastic. Just fantastic. I look forward to your becoming one of us. The club is a special place. Very special. Keep up the good work.
You've got a world-class golf course, landscape gardens, your riding trails back in there, lighted tennis courts, of course. And a stupendous view almost anywhere you turn your eyes.
Really, Tom?
Oh, just kidding, Patricia. You know, even though I'm vice president in charge of marketing, I don't know what it is about you two. It brings the salesman out in me. I don't know. So come on, what do you say?
I didn't see a basketball court.
Oh, would you please?
What's in there, Tom?
Over here?
Perhaps I can help you with that.
Oh, Matt, I think you know Miss Jones. Patricia Winslow, this is Jessica Jones.
Matt, nice to see you again. Hello, Patricia.
How do you do?
Well, I must say I just love your dress. The color is so becoming to you.
Oh, thank you, Miss Jones.
But if we're going to be friends, and I sincerely hope we will be, you have to start calling me Jessica immediately. Come on, I'll show you around personally.
This is unusual. She doesn't let anybody call her by her first name. You're as good as in. Go. Hey.
This is my favorite room. All our members are encouraged to work out, stay trim, attractive. But you already know how important that is, don't you, Patricia? Elizabeth, hi, you're doing great. Frank Stepson, president of CD Computer Corp. Meet Matt Winslow, Microdigitech.
Hi.
As soon as you climb aboard here, I'd like to talk to you about that spacesuit you're working on. I've heard some good things about you.
We are a tight-knit family here. News of a prospective new member travels fast, to the highest levels. And once you go through our trial period where we get to know you and you get to know us, then the initiation is a simple matter.
How long will that take, Jessica?
4 weeks. Maybe even 3, depending on how quickly you can fit in. Sure, there'll be no problem.
It's really nice of you to say. Wouldn't that be exciting, Matt?
Yeah.
However, if Robbie and Chrissy wish to attend our annual Halloween ball with all their friends, you will, of course, have to already be full-fledged members.
Now I know why all the kids in the neighborhood have been trying to scare the pants off.
If you will follow me, I'll take you back up to the formal area of our club. I seem to have lost you, Matthew.
I thought I heard someone crying for help.
It was probably someone crying out in ecstasy. Pleasure can make you feel that good, you know.
No, it was more like...
You don't care that much about money, I can tell. But you care about power. And you care about pleasure, don't you?
Yes. I don't know.
Don't you trust me? Matthew, I like you. And I will personally see to it that your membership here is as pleasurable as possible.
I better get back to Patricia.
Matt, where have you been?
I'll tell you later. Let's just get out of here.
Oh, but wait, Jessica's just invited us for lunch, and I want to go.
I said come on.
Well, I'm certainly not the child here.
Okay, you want to have lunch with Jessica? You go right ahead.
I'll just do that.
Maybe you ought to join up, Patricia. Join the in crowd.
Matt, please come with me.
No! You come with me.
Was Janie there?
Yeah, honey. Janie and Jimmy were there with the rest of the kids. They're helping decorate for that Halloween thing they're having.
Did the pool have a diving board?
Hmm? You sweetheart. Oh, Matt, I love you so much.
Is Daddy in from the Cove?
Yeah.
Don't wander way too far, kids. We're gonna leave soon.
We won't! Don't worry!
What is it, Patricia? You seem troubled.
Well, it's just that it's so lovely here. I really like it so much. I just wish that Matt felt the same way.
What is it about this place that frightens some people? That frightens Matt into thinking we're something to be resisted? That frightens you into thinking that we're so formal we can't bend the rules a little for someone who so clearly belongs in this club?
Miss Jones.
Jessica.
Jessica, I'm not sure what you're saying.
I'm simply saying that if you want to join, and the children want to join, there's no reason the club has to be religious about its rule that families join as a unit.
You mean it'd be okay if the kids and I join without Matt?
Why in the world not? Why should the kids miss the Halloween ball? Why should you miss the company of people you prefer? Of course, if you'd like to think it over.
When can we do it?
Patricia, Robbie, Chrissy, you are now accepted into the inner circle. And by this symbolic entrance into our ancient spring, do forever forsake the mundane world and merge yourselves into the protective, exclusive shield of the club. Do you forsake all for the club?
I do.
I do.
Then enter into the spring and taste its power.
No, I'm afraid.
Chrissy. It will be all right. Go ahead.
Wait, you're hurting me. You're hurting.
Quiet. Bed's made. I was sure I was in the wrong house. I only have time for a cup of tea. Don't you look nice?
Thank you, darling. Thought you deserved a little extra rest this morning.
Let's consider it. What's really going on here? You dinged the car while I was sleeping? Something happened at the club. Hmm? One of those snobs say something?
The club was just great, Dad. We liked it a lot.
We wish you'd
join.
Robbie let Albert in, huh?
Oh, honey, I think Albert's perfectly happy outside.
Come on, Albert. Come on. Come on. Hey, hey, what's the matter?
Get out of this house, you stupid dog. Just stay out there.
Tricia, what are you doing? He's obviously frightened by something. Don't scare him anymore.
I'm sorry, Matt. It's just that he was growling at the children, and I thought that, you know, that I would...
I'll go check it out.
Oh, no, it's okay. You're late to work, so go ahead. I'll take him to the vets if you want. Probably just something he ate. Okay? I'll take care of it. It's all right.
All right. For a second there, it looked like he was afraid of you guys.
Oh, don't be silly. You have a lovely day, honey. I'll take care of Albert.
See you later.
Quitting time, genius. Buy you a beer?
No thanks, not today, Tom.
Want to get something off your chest?
Just family stuff.
We've talked family stuff before.
Oh, it's no biggie. It's just that my wife and kids felt like strangers this morning. Starting to feel like we live in two separate worlds these days.
I know what it is. Listen. I know you don't want to hear this, but your wife and kids want you to join the club.
No, you don't know. I mean, they've changed, Tom. Even the family dog has changed. You sounding crazy?
Bananas. Well, look, it hasn't changed me at all, has it? Still the same guy. The only thing is I've got a promotion and a higher gasoline bill. Think about it.
Miss Winters. Hello?
Hello, Matt Winslow? You remember Mrs. Henderson, don't you?
Who? Oh, Grace, yeah.
Well, this is Walt, her husband. I run a animal clinic and kennels.
Yeah, she mentioned her husband was a veterinarian, right?
There's something I've got to talk to you about. I hope that I'm not out of line calling you at the office.
No, you're not out of line. As a matter of fact, I was meaning to call Grace.
I'm sorry, sir. I just stepped away from my desk for a minute. Would you like me to take that call for you?
No, it's all right. It's family. You can go on home, Miss Winters.
All right. Good night.
What's your address? Mr. Henderson? This is nice. Feels good after where I work. Can you tell me again what happened?
Well, your wife brought the dog here this morning, said she got our name from a card Grace had given you.
Oh, yeah, I remember the card was on the fridge.
Well, she brought the animal in and said that it had attacked her children. And that was the final straw.
Final straw?
She said the dog was vicious from day one. Probably some kind of brain tumor. Couldn't be trusted with people anymore.
What?
Said I should put him out of her misery, is the way she put it.
Doesn't sound like... Huh? She loved that dog. Did you do it?
She wanted to watch. I told her I didn't operate that way. Then she said she'd have to take the dog somewhere else. She kept saying how dangerous he was and how he had to be killed. So I told her that I would do it after she was out of the drive. Told her there wasn't another vet for 50 miles. In short, I lied through my teeth. I don't do that. But I did.
Hey, Howard, come here, boy. Come on. Hey, how you doing?
Now you tell me, is that a vicious dog from day one?
Hi, darling. I didn't hear you come in. What's wrong?
Patricia, the colors, I thought you wanted something more cheerful.
Oh, that. Well, I spoke to Jessica, and she said that the mood is what's in this year. Oh, did you have a rough day, darling?
Patricia, where's the dog?
You mean Albert? Albert's at the vet's.
I talked to the vet, Patricia. He's my ex-secretary's husband, remember? He told me what you said. He told me what you did. All those lies.
I try and give you everything you want, Matt. I try to be a perfect wife, a perfect mother, a perfect lover. Everything you want and need. Now, do I ask very much in return? All I do is ask you to spend more time with the children and me. I mean, choose us over a dog that may be rabid or even worse. I don't know. Matt, just give us a little bit more of yourself. Just enough to keep us together. Join us, Matt. Join us before we become a family of strangers.
Okay, Patricia. It's all right. It's gonna be all right.
Okay. Okay.
Patricia?
You scared me half to death. You all right?
Yes, of course I'm all right.
What's the matter with you?
All right, my darling. I'm just teasing you. Don't you know that? I'm just playing with you, Matt.
What's gotten into you? Ow.
I just want to make
Would you? Ow! Would you
my darling.
Easy. Come on, honey.
Just making love to you, darling. That's all. Just making love to you.
Tricia? Are you all right? Tricia, did you join without me?
Hey, Geoff.
What's up?
What do you think the rules are here with this Satan Club?
Hey, what do you mean? You pay your dues, you use the pool, you probably get a locker assigned to you. They probably have aggressive personal trainers trying to get you to pay more for someone to count your push-ups or something.
That's not what I mean. I mean, people go in and get into that special hot springs room and they come out, what? The kids turn into creepy little fuckers. Women apparently get horny. Men just talk about work all the time. What gives here?
You know, that beats me, but you do have a good point. You go to purify yourself in the waters of Lake Minnetonka, and what? Are you turned into a demon? Are you replaced by a demon? Can you be saved? At what point do you become demon adjacent so that you can survive what appears to be, and what we later learn, is a really hot room?
See? Questions. So many questions.
Yeah, and I don't know the answers to any of this stuff, but I can tell you more about some of the really recognizable faces in this movie. Our lead star is Robert Urich. Now, Urich had a pretty extensive career doing a lot of TV work from the early 70s through the 90s, and he was a fairly good-looking lean man, and while he only had a handful of feature films, he could get a ton of work in TV movies where he stayed constantly busy, and absolutely his biggest and best known role was as the lead for 65 episodes of Spencer for Hire. That was a crime drama series that featured the private investigator Spencer, the only name he ever went by, getting mixed up in various cases and scenarios. The show featured a lot of depth of character. It was very specific, what cars he drove, the gun he carried, and so forth. And I'm sorry, Nurse, but I gotta do it. Another famous actor who spun out of Spencer for Hire was none other than Avery Brooks, who played Hawk, an enforcer and someone who ends up working alongside Spencer. Brooks, of course, would go on to be Captain Benjamin Sisko on Star Trek Deep Space Nine. But back to Urich. Now, he worked constantly for almost 30 years, but sadly he died young at the age of 55. He had a peculiar form of cancer called synovial sarcoma, which was a pretty rare version of sarcoma that attacked soft tissue in the body. He did fight it off at one point, and I specifically remembered when he started acting bald in roles because of the treatment he took, but there seemed to be a chance that he would potentially beat the illness again with the help of a wonder drug, but sadly, when the cancer re-emerged in the early 2000s, he would lose his battle in 2002. From 1975 to 2002, Urich was married to Heather Menzies, an actress who had been in some pretty recognizable roles in the 70s and 80s. She herself was a survivor of ovarian cancer. She would later pass away in 2017. However, throughout their struggles with the deadly diseases, they became huge fundraisers for cancer research. Both Urich and Menzies Urich would go on to still be fondly remembered for their contributions and advocacy in the fight against sarcoma. Now, there are some really lovely stories about the couple's work in the 90s and beyond. Now, I think Urich is really good in this movie. However, he needs the appropriate villainess to match his vigor, if you will. Who else are you going to get to act her demonically malignant ass off in this movie than the queen of daytime television, Susan Lucci? Nurse, do you like soap operas?
The DVR is running right now so I can catch up with my stories when we get home.
Yeah, my mom's soap opera was All My Children. She watched it religiously all my life until it went off the air. So I know Susan Lucci's work as Erica Kane extremely well. In fact, funny story, it was because of my mom's love of All My Children and the inevitable crossing over into my life in the 90s that I got to know who Sarah Michelle Gellar was prior to her becoming Buffy Summers on Buffy the Vampire Slayer. She was hired to play Kendall Hart, Erica Kane's long-lost daughter, from 1993 to 1995. Gellar is my age, so let's just say I suddenly had a vested interest in seeing what this brat was going to be doing from one day to the next. But anyway, Susan Lucci joined the cast of All My Children in 1970 when she was just 23 years old, but it would be a life-defining role for her as she ended up appearing in 1,560 episodes, more than anyone else on the series. Now, there are two things that I remember most about Susan Lucci during that time. The first was that she was nominated year after year after year after year for a Daytime Emmy Award and never won until finally breaking through in 1999. She was the leading star in one of the most popular series in daytime television history. She was basically the Meryl Streep of soap operas. The other thing was, why wasn't she in movies? Well, for one, soap operas take up a lot of your time. You are pretty much on every day. You get time off for babies, and that's it, I guess. But yeah, if you go make a movie and you're a lead star in a soap, you're probably going to be replaced, or you're going to have to work your way back into your own show. Susan Lucci is a good-looking lady. In fact, I say that she's perfect for a role like this as an uptown kind of seductress type. She could have easily been in more movies. Now, she did some work in TV movies, much like Urich, but I think she would basically always be preceded by her best-known role. However, you gotta say, I think she way more than succeeded by becoming Erica Kane. In her Emmy speech, when people finally stopped applauding her long-sought win, she did mention that being cast for All My Children was seeing past her ethnicity as an Italian woman with darker features. Obviously, that probably did stand in her way for roles and other opportunities when she was younger. I'm sure when she was trying to get started, she was being turned down for roles that ultimately went to blonde-haired, blue-eyed, taller, and more voluptuous actresses in the late 60s. But anyway, Lucci is basically on Mount Rushmore for daytime actors. I'm sure there are still, to this day, actresses in more soapy dramas on TV that still use her portrayal as Erica as inspiration. And speaking of inspiration, Nurse, are you ready to get back to this insane conclusion of this movie?
More than anything.
Okie dokie, so let's get to it. Let's finally accept that invitation to hell and figure out just what in tarnation is going on behind those super hot metal doors that Susan Lucci is always guiding people into.
Hello?
Walt, it's me, Matt Winslow. Listen, has Grace gotten back yet?
She's dead, Matt. Highway Patrol says she must have fallen asleep. I don't know. She went off the road into a tree.
My God. Walt, I'm so sorry.
The car burned, Matt. There wasn't anything left.
Matthew?
I forgot the new furniture was coming today. Can't believe how different it makes the place feel. Wait a minute. There's a new piano, too? We didn't buy a piano, did we?
Isn't that a wonderful instrument? Matt, did you hear how I sounded?
It's a little different from the gentle Patricia I used to know.
Gentle Patricia, huh? Where did that get me? Where has that gotten any of us? This? What I want, Matthew, is some power. And we can have it if we join the club. We can have the power to have the things that we want. I guess I just got a little out of control, Matt. I wanted to make a point, you know.
Where did this piano come from?
Oh, well, you're not going to believe this, but to make up for that near miss we had the other day, she gave it to us. She gave it to me.
Miss Jones.
Jessica. She's so incredible.
Yeah, incredible.
I've got something I want you to read, Matt.
Matt Winslow. I look forward to your becoming one of us.
Employee movements within Microdigitech in the past 2 years of upper echelon personnel. Promoted to vice president, promoted to data manager, promoted to division manager. Everybody's getting promoted. How many were members of Steaming Springs Country Club?
Don't let any more fly up, please.
How's it going?
Fine, Larry.
Let's keep it moving. Miss Jones wants us in on time.
Don't worry.
Well,
Would you mind telling me what you're doing up there talking when you're supposed to be working? You've been up here 20 minutes and it's still not done. What, is it such a big deal?
You'll see.
This baby works.
Degrees. No human can stand that.
Chrissy? Welcome home, Daddy.
It's nice to be home, Chrissy.
No, it isn't. No, it isn't. We don't like nice. We don't like nice. We do not like nice. We do not like
Daddy,
nice.
hold
Get away from me!
You're not my daughter. Tell me where my daughter is.
But I am your daughter.
No, you're not. She's down there through those springs, isn't she?
Good, Chrissy is. But now you've just got bad, Chrissy. Bad, bad, bad.
You tell me how I can get her back. Tell me.
You can't. You're burned. No, leave me alone.
Bessie, I'm gonna get you back the only way I know how. Honey?
Robbie, stop you!
What are you doing, Matt?
Tom, it's you. I was just going to run some tests on the suit.
At 8 o'clock on a Saturday night?
Well, you know what they say. An idle mind is the devil's playground.
Then why do I see fear in your eyes? You're not one of us, Matt. You had your chance and you blew it. You're a loser.
Tom?
We are the winners. We have to get rid of the losers.
Good evening, Mr. Peterson. Love the costume. How's your new car running?
It's, great. Just great. The party's inside?
Yeah. Go right in.
Waiting all night for him. Oh, there he is. Come here.
Hey, hold it. Who's in there?
Well, it's Tom Peterson.
Are you crazy? Taking a $10 million suit out of the lab?
Hey, half the aerospace executives are here tonight. Besides, what better way to promote the suit, huh? It's only a market, but it's not the real thing.
Hey, that's genius. That's pure sales genius.
Hey, everybody, take a look at Peterson.
Lawrence.
Some costume. Peterson's bound to win the prize.
It's not Tom Peterson. run from me? Do you think your weapons can touch me? That's just an illusion, Matthew. Don't be a fool. You'll be broken to bits if you jump. there's something you must admit to yourself. Everyone who joined the club, everyone who walked through that doorway at the Springs did so willingly. Now you can choose power too, Matt, and free yourself. Submit. Now don't go in there. Not even your suit can shield you in there. Matthew. Matthew!
Please. Hear me, Patricia.
She's locked from you. Dangerous to touch her. Terribly dangerous.
Patricia, I'm going to get you out. Promise. I'm going to take you back, Pat.
I warned you, Matthew. You should listen to me. You'll be destroyed if you try to break in on her now. Besides, that's just the weak Patricia.
No. She's the good Patricia. That's what you've done, isn't it? You've taken all the love, all the good people who joined the club, and put them down here. Well, I want the good Patricia back.
She's hardly worth it. When you can have me. Oh, Matthew. I was so foolish. Thinking to tempt you with money or position. What you really want is to taste the fire. You know it's true. You're bored with anything less now. Admit it. You want me.
I want my wife. I want my kids. I want my family.
I condemn you, Matthew. I can curse your soul to this place for eternity if I want.
I don't think you can. You said so yourself. All you can do is lie and tease and tempt. The choice is up to us. It's up to me. Patricia.
Matthew!
Patricia. Remember where we were when we loved each other. When we cared about each other more than anything else. Patricia. I love you.
Matthew!
Matthew! Matthew!
I love you.
Dad! Daddy! I can't breathe! Don't touch him! Bobby! Call the police! Don't touch him! Oh, you're throwing it all away! Mommy! Daddy!
Chrissy! dear God. Oh, dear God.
Where have we been, Matt?
It's okay, Pat. It's okay, we're home. We're together. I love you.
Hey, what's going on? Oh, there's a big fire down at the club.
We heard on the radio it's been burning all night.
Was anybody hurt? I don't know yet. There are a lot of fire engines over there, though.
Let's go see. The club's been on fire all night. They can't put it out.
It burned. The club burned down to the ground.
All gone.
Yes, honey, it's all gone.
Bunny's hungry.
Guess I better feed Bunny, huh?
Yeah.
Come on. Are you coming in?
Yeah, I'll be right there.
In the grand battle of good versus evil, all it takes is for one guy to convince his wife and 2 kids to leave hell in order to undo everything Lady Satan planned for until, well, she literally explodes.
Who knew it was so easy?
I know, right? Anyway, before we start wrapping things up, let me just say the names of a few other pretty popular actors who appeared in this movie as well. Now, playing Robert Urich's buddy, who I guess got him the job at this super hi-fi tech place that also is somehow connected to supernatural devil shit, is Joe Rigobudo. He would be best known for being one of the regular cast members of the hit 80s and 90s series Murphy Brown, starring Candice Bergen. Rigobudo appeared in a ton of movies and TV, including critical successes like Missing, and box office hits like the Arnold Schwarzenegger action flick Raw Deal and the fantasy The Sword and the Sorcerer. Being mostly a TV guy, you can imagine that he appeared as a guest on pretty much every popular show from the mid-80s and beyond. Playing his wife is the Academy Award nominated actress Patty McCormick. McCormick is best known for playing Rhonda Pinmark in The Bad Seed as a child actress, which got her that Oscar nomination. In the 90s, she appeared in a similarly well-appreciated thriller where she plays the titular mommy. If you want to know more about that movie, head on over to B-Movie Enema's website and read all about it there. McCormick has pretty much worked consistently for nearly 70 years. The boss at the tech company that Regal Buto and Urich worked at is played by Kevin McCarthy, who only really appears in a couple of scenes. McCarthy lived until his mid-90s before passing away in 2010, but he was in a ton of movies and TV shows. He, too, was an Academy Award nominee in the 50s for his very first on-screen performance as Biff in Death of a Salesman. However, there are probably two movies you recognize him best in. First, 1989's UHF as villainous TV station owner R.J. Fletcher, opposite Weird Al Yankovic. However, second is the movie that would forever follow him as Dr. Miles Bennett in the original film version of Invasion of the Body Snatchers in 1956. He's so well known for that movie that he appeared in a cameo role as a character running around and trying to warn people, saying things like they are already here in the 1978 remake by Philip Kaufman. Now, you know, Nurse, the little Easter egg story about that is that it's still Dr. Bennett that's still running from the end of the original one, trying to warn against the invasion. What do you think about that?
Cool beans.
There you go. So, Urich's wife in the movie is played by Joanna Cassidy. Now, Cassidy got started early on in her career on TV in a 1973 Smokey Bear PSA commercial. She did get a small part in Stay Hungry, which was about bodybuilders. That also starred Schwarzenegger along with Jeff Bridges and Sally Field, also directed by Monkees co-creator Bob Rafelson. Probably her best known performance was as Zora, the replicant who did erotic fake snake dances in Ridley Scott's Blade Runner. She wore a clear plastic jacket and got shot in the back by Harrison Ford while trying to escape. But in the 2000s, she appeared in 2 episodes of Star Trek Enterprise as mother to Vulcan crew member T'Pol. She even had a recurring role on Boston Legal alongside William Shatner. Urich and Cassidy had 2 kids in the movie. The first is Barrett Oliver, who plays Little Robert Winslow. He appeared in a handful of movies, including The Neverending Story and Cocoon, and he also appeared on some TV shows before retiring and taking on a career as a photographer. The daughter in the movie, Chrissy, was played by Soleil Moon Frye, best known to everyone in my generation as Punky Brewster. But as a teen, she sadly suffered from gigantomastia, which required a pretty significant breast reduction procedure before she was even 16 years old.
God, that had to be kind of rough to deal with at that age.
Yeah, no doubt. In 2000, she joined the cast of Sabrina the Teenage Witch, starring Melissa Joan Hart, for a grand total of 66 episodes. The pair would go on to reunite for a fun little ad campaign with Gain laundry detergent. Finally, there are 2 other actors who have appeared in at least one other Wes Craven film. The first is Virginia Vincent, who plays Urich's first secretary, Grace. The other is the much-beloved character actor Michael Berryman, who also appears in this movie. Now, both Vincent and Berryman were in The Hills Have Eyes together. All right, Nurse, care to give the folks at home your final thoughts on Invitation to Hell?
Sure thing. This is about as 80s as the 80s could get. Geez, the hair, the intro music, the clothes, the suburban neighborhood that looks like the same neighborhood used in every Spielberg film and TV movie. Also, it's so very, very brown. Those houses look like piles of wet mud, just so moist and brown. Like Geoff said, it's a good thing they don't beat around the bush with Jessica Jones being a devil woman. Look at that hair of hers. It gets the shape from all those juicy secrets she's got about people and their souls. You don't get volume like that without having everyone's deepest desires and secrets stashed away up there. God, and if I was this Matt guy, I'd probably get the point real freaking fast that this club is a pretty spooky place. They just want him to join the club. Is anyone on the planet that much into getting into a health club that they would let people talk to them like devil-possessed and cult-controlled crazy people? I think I would catch on real fast. It's not every day that you see a spacesuit made to be worn on Venus that can detect non-human life, able to go into a literal pit of hell and then defeat Satan herself. And also, yes, Satan explodes and that is awesome. The power of love and convincing them to just, stop playing the piano like a cokehead is all it takes to win that movie. Although, those kids, Punky Brewster literally tried to brain her dad with a crowbar. Well, maybe she should stay in hell. Anyway, even though this movie doesn't have any computers on desks at a high-tech fancy company place, I still give Invitation to Hell a solid, easily passable 4 poops out of 5.
Awesome. Yes, this is a pretty solid little film. It's got a more than capable cast of actual recognizable people all over the place. It's got a more than worthy director in Wes Craven. I like this stuff. Even if it is pretty goofy with the spacesuit and going into hell under a health club.
Health club? Get it?
Ha! Okay, well, I guess the episode's over. I mean, let's get back to work or something.
You're not going to go to hell and accept forbidden beef from Tantaliza, are you?
Yeah, no. I finally remembered that she's the demon lady who possessed you, and then you used her strength to crush my nuts to send the signal that I wasn't working on a solution fast enough.
Not entirely sure how you could have forgotten any of what you just said.
Well, yeah. Anyway, no, I will only accept forbidden beef from you, Cartoon Face, as long as it is steakums. You did get those steakums, right?
Yes, I got them.
Damn you, cartoon-face disembody! You have stolen the only true love I've ever had by lying to him about forbidden beef. I have no forbidden beef. I will get you, cartoon-face disembody. You will never escape from my wrath.